Morning, brothers. There's going to be some background noise. They're sort of getting to the final stages of fixing the street outside, or actually down the block from me. So you'll hear some loud crashing as they tear up the last bits of old street. Ava's not particularly calm about the sound, and the whole house shaking sometimes. I didn't put up a video yesterday. Been a little bit on the distracted side. I have a video still about Leonard Nimoy passing, so I'm going to see if I can say a few quick notes about that and the other thing. So, Leonard Nimoy, if you look at the history of Star Trek, the original series on TV, he was one of the voices in the room as they were creating that show, who was asking and encouraging people to do more with the show than just let it be sort of cheesy science fiction. So he recognized that Spock was the only alien on the bridge and played that up. He had a sort of a unique character in that, on one hand, Spock was a Vulcan, and therefore he was a lot like Data in a lot of ways. In the Next Generation, he was sort of a lot like a human, except for green blood, and either did not feel or rejected emotion. I think the new movies sort of paint it more that it's a trained rejection of emotion by the society rather than an inborn lack of emotion. But he was also half human, it turns out, and so he still felt these things and didn't necessarily fit the cultural expectation of not feeling emotion. And that's just watching him play that out, and watching on sort of the other side, Data in the Next Generation strive to have emotions despite not having sort of not being part of him physically the way he was created. Was always really interesting for me, and even really interesting for my psych teacher in college. We often derailed our conversations into talking about Data and Spock. Nimoy not only pushed Star Trek to be a better show than it probably would have been without him, but then he went on to be sort of a broader nerd figure in a lot of ways. He hosted some sort of documentary-ish shows. Some of them were a little bit on the sort of conspiracy angle-y side, the sort of stuff you might see on a History Channel today. But he sang a amazing song about Bilbo Baggins. He got into, like Shatner, got into sort of poetry and spoken word, and tried to sort of branch out his career into other directions in a way that, while not terribly successful, I think still encouraged me as a nerd to not say I'm a nerd and therefore I have to focus on math and sciences, but I can look into these other things, and they're legitimate things for nerds to be a part of. So yeah, I really respected the guy. He he had it easy in some ways because he always sounded so smart and wise to me that there's a gravitas to his voice that even when he was doing Reborn Megatron in the original Transformers movie, you might remember Galvatron. He even he even made that sound good. Anyway, he hadn't been as active lately, but I'll certainly miss his presence in the nerdosphere. In other news, secondary test on pregnancy came back positive. We're absolutely not out of the woods yet. I think that there's a lot that can happen even naturally to a pregnancy in the first trimester. And as I think our family knows, a lot that can continue happening, or plenty that can still happen after that. We're joking that the doctors and ourselves, we're not going to allow ourselves to really celebrate until we have a child raised up through the age of majority at 18, at which point we'll say, okay, yes, I think we can definitively say that we created and raised a child. Anyway, that's our plan. I hope you all have a good weekend, or you both have a good weekend. And I'm gonna see Kyle fairly soon, right? End of the month, Kyle? Is that when you're coming down? Anyway, good weekend. Live long and prosper.